Hey, dear Tyler, good morning, and how are you? I hope you're good. I hope you're fine. I hope this meets you well. So, I had a very, very long weekend. Traveled to Bauchi. I think I updated you on that. Traveled to Bauchi and came back on Sunday. I got in pretty late. Had to do some little tidying up and then ran over for Koinonia. It was miracle service. There was traffic. We got home late. I think I got home like around after 1, and so I wasn't able to actually do an episode yesterday. So my apologies for that. But I'm working on a system to make sure that we do not have such lapses again, so that we could just have a very, very cool free flow of activities and all when it comes to the podcast. So thank you so much for your patience. And I really do hope that you've listened to the other episodes. They're really, really heartwarming. Really, really heartwarming. And full of encouragement. So for today, we are going to discuss a very cool topic. What I ordered versus what I got. What I ordered versus what I got. Now, there's this trend, I think some years ago, it started now, Nigerian trends, or maybe it even happened around the world, but I think there's just this stuff about Nigeria, either whether we start a trend or we join a trend, we always, like magnify it. Yes, that's the word. We usually magnify the trend to a point that it's almost, we stretch it a lot. So you'd see people with, very funny experiences. For instance, maybe like a tailor. There's this design that you give a tailor, and the tailor's like, no, I know I can do this style. And then when they deliver it, it's an absolute horrendous piece of of clothing. It could be really bad. Or you order a cake, and I think that's one that's really, really terrible. I think I saw one of they ordered I think it was one of these Disney characters. Oh Jesus. What was delivered was horrific. It looked like something that was offered to a deity, like a shrine or something. And it was for a child. You know how children can be very, very particular about their Disney characters, their cartoon characters and everything. It was, I don't know, even me too, that I saw it, I'm sure I would have been scared. I would have preferred for them to just melt whatever icing design it was. And then social media vendors. I think these are the people with the, I know that one is really bad, where they could like post a picture of something and it looks absolutely glamorous. You'll be like, hey, I need to get this. And then you've done the whole order. And then by the time your order comes, it looks absolutely nothing like what you ordered for. Absolutely nothing like what you ordered for. Or these hilarious, very rude dispatch riders that once you order food, you ordered Big Mama, and then when it gets to you, your mama is half, there's egg inside but then there's no yolk or something like that, all of those hilarious things. And I think it can, it's really disappointing, because I think what disappoints the most is the anticipation. It's the hope, that there's something that happens to our minds when we see certain things. Something that happens to our mind, and our mind, sends some certain signals, that whole excitement. And then all of a sudden, you have, they just let you down. I think the best expression is that feeling of broken expectations. Broken expectations. It can be absolutely devastating. I think for me, one of the major disappointments comes from every time I go to a boutique to buy stuff. Now, even though I've learned from those experiences, I avoid boutiques that have that bluish, those fluorescent, those neon lights. Yes, they call them neon lights. Those blue neon lights. Now, it's like what they do, those neon lights have a way of glamorizing inferior things. So, especially if it's white, there's a way white looks under those blue neon lights. It just looks beautiful. Now, I never knew that the best thing to do is that whatever you buy in such boutiques, right, just go outside and see it under direct sunlight. And so sometimes I've bought some really, really amazing clothes based on the neon light environment, right? And then when I get home, it's like, is this what I bought? Does it really look like this? And, I know that can be terrible. It just, sometimes it's even shoes. And because like white is one of my go-to colors, I just love white. I'm not very, very colorful or knowledgeable when it comes to color combinations and all. So, I just like to keep it simple, so the colors that I like are black, white, blue, just those colors that you can't really go wrong in them. And then they just complement each other. You can wear white on black, black on blue. Do you understand? Just something that is easy, that will not stress you. So I personally don't like stress, amen? So, by the way, that's just like on a side note. So, having those shoes, and then just come out of the place, and it's just totally different. Or food. There's a way like food. There's a way you just see the food and its presentation can be very, very deceptive. And then you now taste it, and it's like I remember there was a time where we were in Antwerp, that's Belgium, and we went on a train ride as a family. So Popsy took us from Holland to Antwerp or so. It was one of those terrible train rides. And we wanted to eat, so we had the option for either hot dog or a hamburger. And I wish I chose a hot dog. Eventually I got a hamburger, and the hamburger was, it was just terrible. It was like somebody chewed the burger before they gave us. But all these examples, right, that I'm giving are just expressions showing disappointment. Now, what about in life? What about disappointment in life? Now, that can be terrible, where you've planned out certain things, and especially after you've committed it into the hands of the Lord. You've planned out certain things, and then all of a sudden, everything just goes haywire. Months and months of preparation, anticipation, and then everything just goes south. Or you're trusting God for a certain thing, and based on everything that you've followed, every principle, you've kept your own part of the promise or part of the commitment, part of the covenant, and you've crossed all your T's, you've dotted all your I's, and then all of a sudden it doesn't work the way you anticipate. And you can literally look at God and be like, but God, this was not our agreement. Lord, this was not our agreement. I think it's really tough as a believer. Most times when you pray prayers and then they don't get answered, you can see the stress the answer, they don't get answered. And I've found myself, right, Because I've been in that state for a while where there are many things that I had planned out. I remember a few days ago, I really, just echoed out my heart before the Lord, and I was like, Lord, there were so many things that I had planned out. So many things that I had planned out. So many things that I had believed you for. And as it stands now, it seems like nothing, not one of them is happening. And Lord, that's very, very painful. And the response I keep on getting is that all things work together for the good of those that love me. As encouraging as those words are, they can sometimes be hard to swallow. Because for God saying that to us, it means that He's fully aware of the fact that things didn't go the way we planned. As in, we as individuals planned, right? It means that God is absolutely aware. And He's asking us to trust Him that He would make things work well. Like literally asking us to trust Him that all things will still work in our favor. And sometimes when those things don't happen, there's a loss that we might incur. There's a loss that we might incur. And so it's like, okay, God, you're telling me to trust you. I trusted you that you would come through for me. And apparently you didn't come in the way that I wanted. I'm now at loss. And you're trying to tell me that everything will work in my favor. Like, it's so hard to understand. But it's like, God, this was not what we bargained for. I think trusting God, right? Trusting God is probably one of the hardest things to do. Or let me put it this way. Trusting God is hard to do when you do not have an alternative. Or when you do not have an option that can actually solve the issue without trusting God. So, let me try and put it in this way that it will be easily understood. Let's say you're trusting God for a particular thing, a particular item, a need, let's say something worth a certain amount of money. And you already have a means of getting the money. It's easier to trust God because if at any point in time there's no answer, you can just draw from wherever that resource will come from. Right? And get it. And you can still come out and say, God came through for me, even if that was not the instruction of the Lord at that time. Now, when it becomes really difficult to trust God is when you do not have an alternative. It's easy to tell somebody, the Lord will supply all your needs according to His riches and glory when your needs are met. It's very easy. And so you have a need at the time, and then you have some resources that can actually help you through. Like, Father, I trust you. You can tell people, I trust this God, or I trust this God. But then when it's your only option, that makes it really, really hard. Makes it really, really hard. And so imagine where you've put your trust in God for something and it didn't work out the same way, and He's still telling you, trust me. Trust me. No. Tyler, it can be really, really hard. I will not deny the fact that it can be really, really hard. But if you take out time and you really look at your life, you would find out how many things really, really came out well. Now, I'm sure a lot of us have had this experience where I really wish I could find a better example. But for the lack of a better example, I'll just use this, and I do it with all due respect. Where maybe you're on a journey and then all of a sudden the tire bursts, or there's a mechanical fault in the car, electrical fault, or something just happens, right? And then you are stopped for a while, maybe an hour, 2 hours. There's this certain level of delay. And then you're frustrated, like you're meant to be at a certain place at a certain time, and all things are just going haywire. Everything is just terrible. It's just bad. It's just, now, those things. And then, on your way, after things have been settled on your way, you now find out that either there was a robbery or there was an accident or something that you could have been part of. Now, you trusted God for a speed, very fast, swift journey. And then you now had that occurrence that somehow brought a delay, right? Now, that mishap, right, was actually a blessing in disguise, because you could have been quick and fast, either met up with the accident, been involved in the accident, or you would have just been grasped by, these terrible kidnappers and everything. I remember when I was coming back from Bauchi, I had, there was this little delay that we had. First of all, I had this terrible stomach upset where I had to stop, and then along the line just had to find one place to, relieve myself. Then we now got to continue the journey, and then all of a sudden we heard this loud pop, like the tire just burst, and then we had to wait for a while. There was traffic at some point. I realized that I wasn't upset. Usually I would have been upset. I was thinking, okay, I have Koinonia and I need to be in Koinonia on time. I wanted to make it in time for service and everything. But then I think over time, because I'd come to understand the blessedness of some mishaps, I was able to become, and I just thought about it that there must be a reason why all of this happened. And Lord, I'm grateful. There's so many things that work, or there's so many things that God does behind the scenes that we are absolutely unaware of. And if certain things came the way we wanted, it would have either been more devastating, more heartbreaking, or would have put ourselves in a terrible, terrible situation, in an absolutely, absolutely terrible situation, right? So, what do you do when what you prayed for doesn't come? What do you do when what you ordered from God is not what you actually get? Number one, first and foremost, be grateful. Be grateful. You see, this thing they call gratitude. This thing they call gratitude is many a times it's unappreciated. It's very, very underrated. And you see, gratitude has nothing to do with the needs being met, because you see, there's this narrative that we've pushed forward, that gratitude brings about multiplication, and so it's almost like you blackmail God into it. Like, you want more of something, so you're not grateful. No, it has to come from a sincere heart that sees the heart of the person that was meant to do something for you. be grateful. I think there's this part of Ecclesiastes, it should be in chapter 5, from verse 1 or 2 and 2, where it talks about when you come over to the house of the Lord, let your words be few, because God is in heaven and you're on earth, giving the indication where God sees more than we do. You get, our vision is limited. Our vision is absolutely limited. And so we have to come to God from the place of gratitude and be like, Father, thank you. I know that I didn't get what I wanted, or it didn't come in the way that I wanted it, but thank you. Sometimes you'll have to express gratitude in pain. That's just the truth. Sometimes you may have to express gratitude in pain, through pain. Oh, Father, I trusted you for 100,000. And it was 15,000 that came. But Father, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. Oh, Father, I trusted you for this, but it was delayed. Lord, I'm grateful. A heart of gratitude will always set you apart, Tyler. Number 2, ask the Lord what you should do in that situation. Lord, do you want me to wait? Or especially if He gives you a resource, is there something I'm meant to do with that resource? Do you understand? Or, just ask the Lord, okay, Lord, what do you require of me now? And then after that instruction, trust Him. I know saying this thing is easy. It's easier said than done. Trusting God is easier said than it is done. But then understand that there'll be many times. In fact, life has proven that many times there are certain things that we desire that we don't get in the way that we want. And it's okay, Tyler. It's really okay. It's our response to those situations. It's our response to those moments that really, really bring a turnaround for us. Those are the things that really, really do matter. Our response to those situations. Oh, you trusted God for admission, it didn't come. Be grateful. And then trust Him. Find out if there are things that you need to do, but be grateful. I remember I wanted to go to OAU. But then God turned it to ABU through my father's anger and my uncle's influence. Moved me to ABU. And that's how I got to meet Apostle Selman. And that's how I got to meet Prophet Jangfa. That's how I got to meet Pastor Chintok. That's how I got to meet a whole host of people that are a blessing to me now. I didn't finish from ABU. You could, listen to my story on my battle with depression part 1. I didn't finish from ABU. I had to leave. I had to leave the school and everything. And then I now went to ATBU. And that's why I met another set of great people. And so it was like a disappointment for me moving from ABU down to ATBU. Do you understand? But then the way God fashioned it out, a lot of the people that are pillars in my life are people that I've met in ATBU. That's in Bauchi. And my being in ABU helped me spiritually. My going to ATBU helped me help other people. So you can see that, yes, each of these instances had their own levels of disappointment. I remember when I was in camp, NYC camp, God told me, Binga, I would bring you to Zaria. And while I was in camp, I did have the opportunity to choose where I wanted to serve. And God told me, no, allow me to take you to Zaria. And when the posting came out, I was posted to Kajuru, a local government that was reading with crisis. There was no bank there. Things just went, haywire. They were like really, really bad, extremely terrible. And then I had issues with my bank. BVN issues and everything. But then apparently the school that I was attached to, one of the teachers, his wife works with the court, and so they were able to give me an affidavit for free. Do you understand? So I was able to resolve that issue with my bank. I was able to meet students. I was able to help them, set them on their career path. It was really a blessing. And then there was this crisis moment that happened. That we were now all moved out. And then I was taken to where? Zaria. God fulfilled his promise. He just did it in his way, not mine. And I think I'll leave this with us, Tyler. If God promises, trust me, he would fulfill it. Trust me, he would fulfill it. It just may not come the way that we want or the way that we expect. But trust me, eventually, God will come through for you. And so I think one of the things that would really help is to take into consideration through scripture how many people God promised things, and the fact that he really, really answered every single one of them. Everyone received the promise. It may not have come in the manner and in the timing that they expected, but everyone did receive the promise. I don't know if I've shared this song before, but then a song I wrote years ago that made a lot of sense, like last week or so, or 2 weeks back. It says, your deeds are ever before me. Your benefits I won't forget. Because every miracle I've ever seen or heard assures me, Lord, you'll do it again. O faithful God, God of wonders, God of glory. O faithful God, you are good, you never change. O faithful God, you are Lord and you are able to do that mighty miracle again. That I have looked upon your promises, Lord, for so long. And I have seen you come through for so many people that my own case is not going to be different. So in as much as, Lord, as it is painful that it didn't come the way that I wanted, I know that it will still come. And when it comes, it will be more than I've ever dreamed. Right? So if you're going through anything right now, Tyler, I want you to know that all things work together for your good. Right? All things work together for your good. So, this is me saying, have I not done the other? I know I've forgotten how to end it. I really hope that this episode blessed you, right? I really, really do hope that it blessed you. And yes, so please, you can still be part of the community if you want to. We're still trying to put 1 or 2 things in place for our, merch and all, but, keep on trusting God with us that everything will work out well, right? And, please reach out on Instagram at @dear_Tyler, reach out to me on Instagram. If you have questions, you need answers for anything, it would be an honor, to, hear from you. You could also share your own stories with me, via the email at deartyler, that's deartyler@gmail.com. You could share your own stories, things that you feel that would be beneficial to others, right? And then yes, please keep on sharing the podcast with others. Share, let the world know about Dear Tyler, right? So this is me signing out. Remember that I love you, I believe in you, and I'm always, always rooting for you. Bye.